first thing you want to do is take your dry sourdough and break it up into small pieces. That just helps it soften quicker and dissolve and help the flour and water get active. So here we have it broken into pretty small pieces. I'm going to pour in a half a cup of lukewarm water. You don't want to use cold water because cold water will slow the process down. I always use room temperature water so that it will speed up the process. Mix it up a little bit, and then I just let this sit on the counter uncovered. So after 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to come back, see that it's dissolving in the water. I'm going to add in a heaping cup full of flour in, and then you'll add in about 3/4 cup of room temperature water. We're going to stir that really, really, really good. You want to get as much of those hard chunks to stir in. It's fine if they don't all stir in. They will eventually dissolve. So we're going to lightly cover that with plastic, making sure to leave a little bit of air space because you want your sourdough to be able to breathe. Then I like to set mine in a warm spot. I normally keep my sourdough next to my oven. That helps it to get working faster. Sourdough gets much slower and sluggish in a cool environment. So if you want your sourdough to hurry, you want to keep it warm. Somewhere between 75 to 80 degrees is ideal. I'm going to let that sit for 8 to 12 hours. So here you can see the sourdough is much, much more active. It's been sitting all day by the oven. And now I'm going to go ahead and mix in another heaping cupful of flour and about 3/4 cup of warm water. So we're going to stir that really, really good, getting it all mixed in really well. And then we're going to cover that again. And I like to let it just sit overnight. I like to start my sourdough first thing in the morning. That way it is ready for baking the following day. I actually will even set my starter overnight in the oven with the oven off and just the light on if your house is going to be cool in the night. That way it keeps the environment warm. So here we have our sourdough that's been sitting all night in a warm environment. See all the little bubbles? That means your sourdough is now ready to be used for baking bread, making sourdough pancakes, waffles, whatever you want to do. I do mine in either a glass bowl like this, or I actually keep mine in a glass canister jar. That way it has a lid on it. I just take off the seal so that it can breathe. I've had this starter going, sitting next to my oven since January. I bake with it about 2 or 3 times a week and then just keep feeding it. If you're not wanting to bake for a couple days, just feed it a little bit, 1/4 cup of flour and water a day. You'll see it will get a pretty strong smell and not be very active, and that's fine. Once you're ready to bake, put in a full cup of flour and water, maybe 2, depends on how much you want, and it should be very happy by the next morning.